Erika Kirk decided to sit down for an interview with Jesse Waters, of all people. There were a couple of clips that stood out. But I have to say that if you contrast the language from what is said from somebody like Candace Owens to somebody like Erika Kirk, I'm sorry, but there is something really off about her. She decided to share her thoughts on a number of topics, but one that truly stood out to me was her talking about her husband lying in state. This is weird.
You wanted to see Charlie immediately and came up. Take us through that.
When we walked into that room, he had this smirk on his face. That smirk to me is that look of, you thought you could stop what I've built. You thought that you could end this vision, this movement, this revival. You thought you could do that by murdering me.
Now, I'm not one to, again, we have a very bad habit in this country of judging people based on their looks and the things that they do. But I will say, the amount of diamond rings and earrings and things that she's wearing, it's not a good look. And as Jen and other women in my life have pointed out, it's always in the eyes. The eyes tell the whole story. Whatever she's selling and whatever she's trying to sell, keep in mind that she's talking about her family, her kids, and Turning Point USA. You know, in the business world, somebody like Erika Kirk would be in a situation where she is his spouse. My guess is that he had some type of an estate plan. Once you get to that level of wealth, you would think that he would, even though he's young. However, why would she not take a step back and just collect a dividend from the business? So instead, she talks about running the organization, where it seems to me that pretty much everybody who may like Turning Point USA for what it was, and not necessarily because of just Charlie Kirk, the consensus is this woman is a phony. And if she's the person who's pulling the strings, I don't want to be involved in Turning Point USA. In fact, I'm going to take away all the support I had for it. So in a way, she's destroying the organization in record time. Probably more so than could have been done even with Charlie's assassination. There's something very disingenuous about the way she speaks, about the way she measures her language. It seems very disingenuous. And again, I'm not saying that she is responsible for Charlie's demise. What I am saying is that if it turned out that she was involved in some capacity, it wouldn't surprise me at all. At this point, how in the hell could you not think that she didn't have something to do with what went down? I don't think she asked for this necessarily. And I agree with Jen that she was a honeypot situation for Charlie when they first got together. That I absolutely 100% believe, that they were purposely brought together for business purposes. The people who have the power to make things happen behind the scenes knew exactly what his type was, and this is his type. And so it is in effect an arranged marriage. Not necessarily by chance, but think of it as a blind date situation. And by that measure, they got together. He was smitten. They got married, had kids, and she was along for the ride. But if you look into her family's background, it is very shady and skeptical, to say the least. I also want to remind people that if you are here, since we have over 800 people watching, subscribe to Revolutionary Change on Rumble. Since we are a heavily shadow banned channel and we are reliant on the amazing support of our viewers, if for whatever reason our channel continues to keep getting kicked in the behind and in the front, make sure that you are subscribed over on Rumble as well. Thank you for thank you for taking the time to hear my public service announcement. I don't see anything. Thank you very much, Smokey. I don't see anything honest and genuine in her disposition. Nothing. Everything comes off as a complete lie. A script. Get in front of the camera. We need you to make a public statement. People don't believe that you're actually sad about Charlie being dead. Well, if you think this is bad, it's actually worse, believe it or not, when questioned by Jesse Waters, of all people, as I mentioned, about how she feels regarding people questioning the narrative that is being thrown out there regarding the assassination. Listen to this.
There's other theories swirling around about Charlie's assassination.
Right.
How does that make you feel?
Right.
One more time. Watch this from the beginning.
Other theories swirling around about Charlie's assassination.
Right.
The image of her dabbing her eyes with a tissue while she is carrying tens of thousands of dollars in jewelry on her person in full view is a very bad look. Doesn't anyone think to tell her, you might not want to get in front of the camera with a diamond-crusted gold watch and a whole bunch of gold rings? Like, this is not a good look. At least if you're going to try to convince people that you're genuinely broken up about this, try not to make it look like you're just cashing in. And even if this is your style, even if this is how you like to go out in public, have at least a thought in your head about how this is going to look, because this doesn't look good at all. God almighty, that's a lot of fucking expensive jewelry.
How does that make you feel?
When everything happened, my phone died. It became a black hole. I just didn't turn it on for weeks on end. I've intentionally insulated myself.
Now, was that before or after Mike McCoy told his story and then you told your story? Which one was it? You guys really can't get your story straight. Turned your phone off for weeks? I highly doubt that. But as we've seen, nothing about this story adds up. Nothing. Nothing. In fact, this was whoever thought that this was a good idea, wow. Now you're starting to make her look like a suspect. Like she definitely knows more than she's letting on. And now she's going to talk about her thoughts regarding people questioning whether or not they trust the official narrative that's been given regarding Charlie's assassination.
Because I need to guard my heart. And I need to be there for my kids. And I need to be there for Turning Point. And what I've realized through all of this is that everyone grieves differently. Everyone is trying to figure out, and I don't blame them, how does this happen? How does somebody become so radicalized where they can justify this in their own head? We just lost one of the greatest voices of our generation. Why?
Whoever her acting coach is needs to be fired. Being lighthearted about it, but my goodness.
How? What's behind it? Like, everyone's trying to process this. And I respect that. But where my heart is just asking for some grace is for the ones who were there that day. They have to relive that every single day. He didn't die in a car accident. He didn't die from cancer. He was assassinated.
By who? Did Tyler Robinson assassinate him, Erika? Or was something more sinister at play? And if that is the case, what role did you play? What do you know? What you know is a lot more than what you're letting on. It's too obvious. Or you're a really bad actress. You don't feel any sympathy whatsoever to Charlie, to his kids, or to the millions of people. As I've pointed out, Charlie is an all-time grifter, but people believed in his message. There are a lot of people who follow the teachings of Christ and believe that it was being delivered by this man. You don't have to agree, but for many, Charlie was an inspiration. And if she is going out of her way to deliberately sabotage his entire legacy to those that cared about him, again, he wasn't my cup of tea, but for those that he was, yeah, this is kind of the definition of pissing on one's grave. And then some. Oh, and she's rich too, now as a result. So she got a double out of this one. As I said, I don't believe her grievance, and I don't believe her when she talks about what really happened. She has a little bit more to say.
And the difference between this and previous assassinations in this country is there was no social media. There was no AI. I can tell you how many fake images are out there of all of this. And again, my only request is that just please pray and consider and think about whatever you put online, because it's going to impact his kids in the future. I don't want my kids to go on the internet one day when they're older and see things that it's just, we're all trying to process this in their own way, and I appreciate that.
I'm going to say this. I don't believe for a second that Erika Kirk is a religious person. And when she invokes God, she is doing it. I'm not really sure why she's doing it or in what context. If she feels that this is the language that needs to be used for the audience that she's still trying to get money from, that's the only thing I can think of. If there is a grade you can give this acting performance, I revert back to the greatest critics of all time. It gets 2 thumbs down. Don't see it. Don't believe it. Do not pass go. Do not believe it. I will say also, if there is one good thing I can say about Erika Kirk, is that she is doing her damn best to make sure that no one believes the official story about what happened to Charlie Kirk. Newsflash, it was Israel, and Candace Owens continues to provide the receipts. I'm not doing this because I'm trying to rewrite the history of Charlie's name. No, I'm doing this because I am trying to prove, Jen is trying to prove, that all of this is interconnected to the genocidal state that has infiltrated its midst across every spectrum, but especially our media sphere, whether corporate media, independent media, corporate bought independent media. We do put ourselves in harm's way by talking about this because it's too obvious what is going on here. Thanks for doing this interview, Erika. Hopefully a lot of people see it. Reminding us again how full of shit this entire story is and how full of shit you really are.